Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more slasher matter butthole mixed with some relationships and all that other good stuff. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, a subscribe and maybe that notification bell too, as it hugely does help out the channel and I can never express that enough. And just thank you so much for what you do already. And with that being said, let's crack on with today's first story. And this story is from Runaway Maid of Honor, who says, "Am I the arsehole for wearing a white dress to my friend's wedding?" And it says, "I can't believe I'm using this Reddit account for another wedding related issue. I, 20 female, met my friend Charlotte, 21, when I moved into my college dorm in August of 2020. We got along well, shared ideas for how we wanted to divide space and keep things clean and organized, and had many similar interests. Within a month we were studying and hanging out together, and I considered her a good friend. I also met her now husband, Josh, 22. They seemed like a cute and loving couple, and I was very happy when they got engaged Christmas 2020 after 3.5 years together. Charlotte has spent the last 18 months planning this wedding down to the last detail. I won't say she's obsessive, but it's been intense, and I've tried to help her as best as I can with making appointments, managing stress, etc. I also gave her $250 to help pay for the wedding. Her family can only afford part of it, which isn't included in the wedding gift I'm going to give her. A month before the wedding, I was still trying to decide exactly what to wear. I wanted something nice because Charlotte said we would have a photographer, videographer, and wedding painter. I knew Charlotte had a vision for her wedding and I wanted her as in control as possible for all the details of her special day. So I asked her which dress out of the 3 I'd narrowed it down to that I should wear. She asked if I would actually pull out all of my dresses, so I did. She ended up narrowing it down to one of my picks, along with a dress I'd put firmly in the no pile for being white. It was a wedding after all. She told me both dresses were lovely, but that she prefers the white one. I asked if she was sure and she said yes, and even picked out a pair of pink and white heels from her closet to go with my dress. I figured that was that. Fast forward to last week, I show up in the dress about half an hour before the ceremony. I get some weird looks, but no one says anything. In hindsight, this is when I should have realized something wasn't right. When Charlotte comes out of her dressing room for some last minute pictures, she looks shocked to see me, and then she starts turning red. She pulls me aside and starts going off on me immediately about wearing the dress to her wedding. I'm stunned. I asked her what her problem is because she picked the dress out. And she told me it was a friendship test and that if we were real friends, then I wouldn't have worn a white dress or her shoes to the wedding. I started laughing because honestly I thought it was a joke, and she screamed at me that I ruined her fucking wedding and to get the fuck out. I flat out told her she was crazy and left, not wanting to fight anymore and not knowing how to deal with what happened. I grabbed my wedding gift to them on the way out. My phone has been flooded with texts, voicemails and social media notifications from her, her friends and her family about what an arsehole I am. But honestly, I don't see what I did wrong. Am I really the arsehole here? Now, it's one of those stories that I was absolutely ready to come in this one with the "you're the arsehole" because of the title itself. Are you the arsehole for wearing a white dress to your friend's wedding? And whenever we cover a story like that, usually it's "you're the arsehole, you don't wear white to someone else's wedding." The fact is, she picked out this dress. She's the one that chose the dress and has some sort of friendship test. That is worrying, man. And we've seen these like random tests, girlfriend tests and boyfriend tests, and this friendship one is a new one to me. Do you guys remember the story of like the brother who brought his girlfriend round the house and then the whole family tested her loyalty by, I think getting the other brother to hit on her or something like that. I can't even remember, was it touch her knee or something? To see what her reaction was, and then afterwards it was like, "Surprise, it's just a test and you passed, congratulations." And the girlfriend was just sat there like, "Oh fucking what have I got myself into?" And if anyone tested me in any of those situations, I'd be instantly questioning that person and if I want that person in my life anymore, because it'd be something that I'd never be able to get out of my head, that that person tested my loyalty towards them like that, so they didn't trust me to begin with, kind of thing. But we're going to cover some comments in a second, then go on to the edits, then go on to the update as well, which was on OP's profile. So Stay Mellow says, and quotes, "She told me it was a friendship test," and then says, "Yep, she tested whether or not she was your friend, and guess what? She's not. When someone is mad at you because they lied to you and you believed them, that person is the arsehole, regardless of what conventions exist in the broader culture about colours of dresses. Your friend lied to your face and embarrassed you in public just to see if she could. Not the arsehole. New Present says not the arsehole. If you had worn a different dress, Psycho Bride would have said you're the arsehole because you didn't wear the dress she picked. This was a setup for you to fail the friendship test either way. OP, don't look back. Accessible Beige replied to that only way OP could have beat that system was to have a backup dress to change into, but Charlotte would have probably found a way to be mad about that too. And then New Present replied to that again saying if only OP had been dating that guy who carried around the extra dress, the whole situation could have been avoided. And then New Present shared a link to that post, which we might cover after this story. It sounds like an interesting one. Groaning Leopard Juice says apparently she thinks no wedding is complete without a scandal and a villain, and you were the perfect person to check those boxes off. Ew, I don't think you'll be able to make anyone else realize this was entirely her doing, and those that do know will probably just stay out of it. She will drag this insult out whenever she feels she's losing focus, and everyone will roll eyes, but no one will call her out because she isn't worth the time. Not the arsehole. 94 Max says not the arsehole. I was super ready to say you're the arsehole, but this chick picked out the dress as a friendship test. That's absolutely bananas. She's an attention-seeking psycho, and I'd stay as far away from her and any of her flying monkeys as possible. If there are any mutuals you don't want to give up without a fight, maybe make a statement about what she did and how inappropriate her actions were to trick you. Larkspur Song says, anyone else think that Charlotte intentionally set OP up for this, so a wedding would have some drama? A friendship test is just a bullshit excuse to explain it to OP. I wonder what story she is spinning to everyone else at the wedding. Not the arsehole, you wore exactly what the bride wanted and had zero reason to second guess her. So now the edit says, quite a few people here have said you're the arsehole, everyone sucks here because you should know not to wear white anyway, and I just want to clarify that I brought this point up to Charlotte more than once while asking if she was sure, and she insisted that I wear the white dress. She said I would look lovely and she wanted me to look my best for a wedding because she wanted very nice pictures and videos. I would not have worn this dress if she'd not assured me multiple times that it was what she wanted. Edit 2. Someone made a comment about how if the bride is wearing white, I should at least be prepared for the weird glances. The bride didn't even wear white. That was another non-traditional thing she did. She wore blue. So then OP did create an update which was on their profile. So it says, okay, it's been a crazy few days since I posted that. I had to wait until I was home to read all of the comments and they just kept pouring in. Thank you to everyone who gave me feedback on why they thought I was the arsehole or not. I text Charlotte the day after making the post, sometime around 4 PM, and told her she had 48 hours to tell her friends/family the truth and get them to stop sending me hateful messages or I'll tell them the truth myself. She told me I had no proof and that no one would believe me. I should have just gone ahead and posted proof, but I wanted things to be ended as diplomatically and non-dramatically as possible. I called her husband around lunchtime 2 days later to see if he could talk some sense into her, and that's when things got weird. I had him on speaker and was recording the convo extra evidence in case he knew about the dress thing. At this point I didn't know if he did or didn't. It turns out he did. But when I tried to convince him to talk Charlotte down, he tried to talk me down, saying I needed to let it go and just admit I was wrong so everyone can move on. He said Charlotte can be a little dramatic, you know that. She loves attention. She'll forgive you if you apologize. I told him I didn't do anything wrong, but he said, I know, but just suck it up and apologize anyway. That's what I do. I told him I wasn't going to apologize and they only had a few hours left before I told the truth for them. And then he offered to sleep with me as an apology. I told him to F off and hung up. I waited out the remaining bit of those 48 hours, and then I took to Facebook and posted screenshots of that conversation plus a couple of times I checked in with her about the dress by text featuring date/timestamps. I also added the recording of her husband hitting on me. That was Friday evening. Now it's Monday morning and I've had to block Charlotte, her husband and a few of their friends and family who still support them and are cross with me about trying to ruin their marriage. Most people have reached out to apologize, but I'm honestly just thankful this is all over. I'm hoping my social circle can go back to normal after this and this will turn into another funny story I can tell friends in the future. Edit. Just a note because a lot of people have brought up the $250. No, I haven't got it back, but I did send her and her husband a Venmo request for the money back. I'd also like to make it clear that those arguing about it, I didn't give Charlotte the money because she asked for it. I donated it of my own volition because I knew she still had part of the wedding left to pay, and I wanted to take a tiny bit of stress off her in that area since I could afford to. Her family wasn't covering 3/4 because it was too expensive. It's because they believe when you get married you should cover some of the cost yourself as a recognition of the kind of commitment you are making. Charlotte and Josh weren't struggling to afford things. I just wanted to be a good friend because we'd become so close and she was with me through a couple of very hard things these past 2 years. It hurts a lot to have lost her as a friend. She had become the sister I'd always wanted growing up, and it really feels like I lost a family member here. And after this one, because there was a friendship test in the first one, the husband offering to sleep with OP as an apology, I wonder again if that was some sort of test going on. That might be just too wild. A double testing. It might be just too crazy to consider, but you never know. But what do you guys make of this one? Absolute madness from beginning to end. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's move on to that story that someone posted in the comments. So this story came from Carmen Host 675, who said, "Am I the arsehole for leaving the restaurant because of what my husband did? I'd like to start and say that my female 29, husband male 35, comes from a well-off family, and most of his friends are well-off as well. Unlike me and my family, we come from humble working class and don't own a lot of assets like my in-laws do. My husband cares about appearances. At first, he didn't try to control how I look, but did buy me things he said I'd love, but nothing was my style really. After marriage, he sat with me telling me I get 100% to choose how I look, except when I'm with him or his family, and introduced me to brands to choose my new clothes from, and I started wearing them whenever I'm with his family and friends. Although it limited my choice on what to wear because I'm more into simple things. For his friend's birthday that was celebrated at an upscale restaurant, my husband bought me a $300 dress to wear for the occasion, but I didn't like many things about it. I told him I'd just wear my $60 floral maxi dress. He didn't think it was a good idea and said I was violating the rules he gave after we got married. But I said the dress he bought wasn't my style. I said I either wear my dress or not go. He said fine, then whatever, but still wasn't happy. We got to the restaurant and no one said anything about my dress, except his other friend who said I looked great. After dinner, my husband moved quickly and spilled wine all over my chest and lap. He freaked out and said that he thankfully had a replacement, then pulled out the $300 he previously wanted me to wear out of the bag. This whole time I couldn't help but think he deliberately spilled the wine on my floral dress to force me into wearing the other dress. He handed me the dress and told me to go change. I got up instead of going to the restroom and made my way to the door. He asked me to wait, but I kept walking while opening up my phone to get an Uber to get me home. I stood outside and started arguing with him. He said he didn't get why I was behaving like this and embarrassing both him and myself like that. I said that he looked down on my dress and tried to trick me into wearing what he wanted by spilling wine on me. He told me to go back inside, but I said I won't move till my Uber arrived. He threw a fit, calling me an embarrassment, and stood there till I left. At home, he went off saying I could have worn the dress and not make a scene, and then double down and walk out. Again, I said he disrespected my choices and implied I was an embarrassment. He said he was calling a spade and I should quit acting so insensitive and getting offended over nothing. He said I made a joke out of him in front of his friends, and one of them, the one who complimented my dress and the one who constantly tries to video chat with me whenever he sees me online, tried to call me, but I didn't respond because he made me feel uncomfortable. Am I the arsehole? Did I handle this right? The start of the second paragraph on this one was an absolute nope. When he said after marriage he sat with me telling me I get 100% to choose how I look except when I'm with him or his family. But he gets to choose any other time like that, and it made me think, I wonder if there was any signs of this before they got married. I mean, they made it this far. I don't know how long they were together, and the dude just seems like a controlling arsehole to me. And to me, he 99.9% spilled the wine on you on purpose. I mean, who takes a dress to a wedding like that? But a deleted user says red flags, not the arsehole, but what the actual fuck? To be just sitting on a spare dress through a whole dinner. That's unhinged. Edit. I've debated putting this here, but it deserves acknowledgement. Before today, I've never heard of the phrase marinara flag in my life. Think professional, says not the arsehole. Why are you with someone who gives you rules on what you can wear? That's insane and controlling. OP replies saying he first said it was a request that I wear this kind of clothes in front of his friends and family to be able to blend in. Now he's calling it a rule, which I would have never agreed on had I known it was going to be like this. Monica wrote it better, says not the arsehole. You had every right to leave, but from what you were telling us, I doubt your husband will ever change. OP said, he said that these things are relatively small and there is no way they'd affect our marriage, but he has proven this to be untrue. Tudor says, marinara flags. Not the arsehole, your husband is very controlling, choosing what you'll wear even when you clearly express how it's not your style, orchestrating a scheme when you refuse to wear what he wants and getting mad when you won't have it and call him out on it are all just proofs of that. Get out before it gets worse, because trust me, it only will with time. Then OP added a little edit in the comments as well, which said, edit because I don't know how to edit the original text. His friend, the one who constantly tries to open video chat with me whenever he sees me online, makes me feel uncomfortable by constantly seemingly flirting with me. He's 2 years older than my husband and has been overstepping and flirting with me every chance he gets. I told my husband, but he brushed me off then and accused me of trying to isolate him from his friends by making stuff up. I'm 100% not, and I have picked up on his friend's bad vibe since the day I met him. He comes over more frequently and I just can't tell him to leave. Now, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Would you be out of there straight away, or is there any other way around it? I personally can't see it myself, but what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. And our next story comes from Applet, who says, am I the arsehole for cancelling the trip after my fiancée decided to bring her 10-year-old son with us? I'm male 33. I've been with Natalie, female 32, for 2 years. We're getting married soon and she shares custody of her 10-year-old son with her ex-husband. Ever since her ex-husband got sick, Natalie kept bringing her son over more often. Sometimes her mum would take him due to work, etc. We've been having issues because of that, because Natalie has to bring my stepson with us whenever we go. We started going out less and less. Since it's been a month since we've gone out, and since her ex has gotten better, I've arranged for a trip to the beach for the weekend. It's supposed to be a couple's getaway. She was excited for it and prepared for everything. The night before the trip, she comes up to me and says, hey, Tom is sick again and he asked if I could take Taylor to spend the weekend with us. I was gobsmacked. I asked what she told him and she said she agreed. She then proceeded to tell me that she'd like to take Taylor with us to the beach. I got upset and told her to not bother because the trip was officially cancelled. She looked at me shocked, but I told her she shouldn't act shocked and surprised after she successfully ruined yet another opportunity for us to have quality alone time together. She went on about how she couldn't believe that I expected to ditch her son since her mum was busy as well and getting the babysitter wasn't on the table. I just shrugged and told her it was done, and then I walked out. I went with the guys instead, and she has been upset with me about it, saying I could have just agreed to let my stepson Tyler come with us and we'd have at least had some family time together while Tom gets better. She said I was the only one who screwed up. Am I the arsehole? And as you can imagine, the comments went absolutely wild. Then OP put an edit and info on there which said, because I feel like this has gone into a whole different direction. Folks here need to chill the fuck out. Nowhere in my post did I mention not being ready or accepting to be a step-parent. Trust me, I am ready and so far have been nothing but understanding and patient. I love my stepson and consider him as my own, but, and read this carefully, my problem is with his mum constantly changing plans last minute and not even asking if that's okay with me. And yes, I had to go out with the guys instead. Didn't know what else to do since obviously she wanted some space from me for the weekend, which is alright with me by the way. I'm not mad about that at all. I'd just appreciate it if she'd been a little more considerate of my thoughts and opinions. I'm going to start off with Timely Developed, who says, woo, buddy, your Reddit made this worse. I'm going to give you the bullet points here. Your wants will always come after her child's needs. Proper adult supervision, meaning a well-capable adult, is a need. Your wants may have to be rescheduled around that. She will never ask for your permission or opinion if she is addressing something the child needs, full stop. Splitting custody with her ex does not mean she is a part-time parent. She is a full-time parent, even if her child is not physically with her. As a step-parent myself with 50-50 split custody, Childcare is not always split 50-50. Sometimes it's 100-0, 75-25, etc. Depends on the need of the child. See point 1 above. Side note, this is how marriage works as well. You know, this binding contract that you are about to enter into. Not always an even split. Check the part in the vows that says for better for worse in sickness and in health for further clarification. Kids are wicked smart. I bet you $100 that this kid knows that you don't want him around or resent him when he, completely by no fault of his own, ruins your plans. Remember that. He will for life. You proclaim to love and accept him as your own, but your behavior is not reflecting that. Feel free to print out and review this study guide for future reference. My Huckleberry friend says before the edit, you're the arsehole. After the edit, you're the arsehole, but bigger. Stone Cat says for fuck's sake, she didn't change the plan because she wanted to. Her ex got sick. Just what exactly did you expect her to do in this situation? Drop the kid off at the orphanage? Leave him home by himself? You're the arsehole. You said in a comment that you love the kid like your own. Did you call your family to see if anyone could watch him? And one more from Catfax who says, OP, you're the arsehole for not breaking it off. We haven't been out for a month. Is normal in parent land. It's completely fine to not want to be a parent at all or even just right now. Unfortunately, that means not dating a woman that has a child, even if she is otherwise the perfect woman. The fact she hoped we could bond as a family tells me she's really hoping you'll grow closer and see him as your stepson, which he is/will be. Whereas your reaction that you need a break from him after spending more time with him than usual because his actual dad is sick. Let alone that your response to all this is weekend with the boys, rather than talking through your thoughts and feelings like an adult. This isn't going to last. The two of you aren't compatible. Now, what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, support and time always means the absolute world to me, so thank you so much for what you do, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care guys, much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows. Okay, I know that today